This video's made for adult collectors because bro is so very rattly. So last video we looked at Armada Megatron from 2002/2003. Now we look at Megatron from 2015, and this is definitely a Combiner Wars toy. Thanks to my buddy Dennis for this, by the way. Combiner Wars Megatron is a mold I've never actually handled till now, and yeah, it's definitely one of my least favorite generation's leaders. Remember that whole hand feel thing I went on about in the last video? Well, here it's the complete opposite. It feels lifeless in hand, all the joints feel rattly and hollow, all the parts have an unsatisfying clunk to them. It just feels like a 2015 Transformer. And the ratchets have a lot of play in them too, which is just strange. It's so strange to me. I'm just gonna show you what I mean. This sounds weird. That's really the only one that feels good. The rest just kind of feel very hollow and empty and sort of not fun to mess with. Not to mention there's so much play in them. They're not the greatest. The toy, though, isn't all doom and gloom. I really like the colors. The removal of the weird gray in exchange for that lush silver is such a nice touch, coupled with the purple and the green. I also love how the silver is more distributed around the toy, like the shins and stuff. It just makes the figure shine a bit more. I mean, it's reflective silver. I also love how mean the face is. The expression is a bit bland in comparison to the original, but it's still a mean-looking face. I like the scowl, disappointed look on his face. It just fits Armada Megatron to me. Also, this is how I do the treads because they look more like Armada Megatron to me, sticking straight up. The fusion cannon is massive, and it's on his arm because redeco, but it can flip around and fire a missile. And what's cool is when the cannon retracts in robot mode, there's like a little cut in the barrel. So when you slide it up, the button slips through it and you can access it still. It's really satisfying watching that work. One major problem I have with the joints is that because of how the ratchets are done and how very stationary the feet are, he looks bad in most poses. The feet do have an ankle tilt in them, but because of that cool automorph shin thing and how the structure of the leg is done, they don't work. I gave this figure to my mom to hold and asked her how the hand feel is. And she replied with, "It feels like a cheap dollar store toy," and I can kind of see that. He does have handguns that can detach, but that's more for tank mode. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I recorded the entire articulation segment and left my fan on by accident, so all of in the background you just hear a slight from the fan. So I gotta do it all over again. Love that. Absolutely love that. Anyways, Megatron's articulation is kind of stinky. Head can rotate. It's on a swivel. It can look up and down. It can look up and down quite far because there's a lot of nice range in that head movement. Shoulders. That's not a nice sounding ratchet. Come on. But they rotate at this weird angle. Like they're slightly shifted down a bit. And that's because of how the tank turret rotates. And you can start to see when I get through the articulation more and more what mode they prioritized over the other. And it definitely was the tank mode. But honestly, this is so that it has a tank rotation, like the turret. I'm happy with the tank rotation of the turret, so I'm okay with this. Shoulders can go out that far, and as you can see as well, they've designed it in such a way so that the shoulder pad does not hit the body of the robot, which I think is it looks weird again, but it's a really interesting way of getting around that issue. 90 degrees of elbow bend, bicep rotation. This panel doesn't like to tab in at all because there's no actual tab. God damn it, wrist rotation. Very tight waist rotation. Also, this panel likes to just come off every now and again, which is pain. Hips can only go forward that far. They can go back that far. You got in and out. Hip skirts move out of the way. You do have a thigh swivel. However, because of how it's sculpted, this bangs into the crotch section, so it doesn't go anywhere inwards. Ugh.
English. And then outward, that's as far as it goes. The knee only bends that far due to the tread construction, because the treads do actually move, so they can't fold in anywhere. And then the feet can go forward. This is the only nice sounding ratchet again. And there's no ankle tilt, A, because of this, and B, because of how the foot is constructed here. It doesn't it clashes into the walls of the toy. I do like how they designed this so that it moves like this, so that you can get some range, but then they've sort of blocked it down here. There is a pin. There's a dedicated pin right there for an ankle tilt. He just can't utilize it. And it's a huge shame, because I have more fun posing this guy, and all you can do is move his arms and open his gimmick by accident. There we go. But yeah, he doesn't pose super well, and that's a shame and pain.
So, as a robot, he isn't very good, which is a shame because I was super looking forward to this. So how's that tank mode?
Now this guy's transformation is actually really cool, because I don't think I've ever seen a Megatron transform like this, nor any other tank former transform. Well, no, that's a lie. This sort of does borrow a little bit from like Arch Force and all those other types of tank transformers, of maybe Legion class Brawl from the first movie, at least in the way the arms work. So you straighten out the arms, fold these panels down, fold this cannon inward like that. You take this section, you flip it all the way up, straighten his legs out first, untab these like that, bring the crotch flap down, then you rotate the arms up and peg them together. If you can see I can't see the pegs from where I am. There we go. Bring these out, that, fold them up and over, fold the feet up, bring this section around, peg it in underneath, do the same on this side, like that, extend the barrel, and boom, tank. Now, there is this thing that I thought was kind of interesting. I'm just gonna readjust the camera so you can see it better. This back flap right here, it is supposed to officially go down here and peg into place and hold the back end together and fill out the tank. But when Emgo did his video on the silver version of this, the first deco, he accidentally had it like this, right? Which made the tank turret stationary. If I could get it to sit properly, there we go. It makes the tank turret stationary, but it does kind of like fill it out a little bit. So if you're into this sort of like rounded off turret look, you can do this. You just lose the turret functionality. But I'm personally going to put it back here because I like my turrets to rotate. And there you go. There's tank mode. Nothing too difficult, nothing too horrible, and nothing too like hard. But it's a really nice transformation that I like to do back and forth, actually. I do kind of wish there was a way to get the head to sort of like stick out here, because I like the horns sticking out of the front. But yeah, it is not an H-tank, which might be a bit of a disappointment to some. But yeah, it's cool. And then you take the weapons, you split them in half. You peg him in up here to give him his like missile pod and his turret. And now he looks like a complete tank. That's cool.
Tank mode looks fantastic. Like, it looks superb. It feels rattly and rickety, but man, is it a cool looking tank. He has mini-con pegs all over the place, which is sick. There's about, I think, 4 to be exact. Take that, Legacy. Though the Legacy mini-cons have flip-out 5mm pegs, so they can plug into literally any toy, so I guess that works. Speaking of working, the treads function, which is awesome. They only work on soft surfaces or pressing down real hard on a hard surface. Like on my desk here, I have to press both sides to get both treads to actually work properly, and you gotta press a lot. The turret does rotate, like I said, and this is the reason the shoulders have that sunk down look. It doesn't go up and down, which is a bit of a pain, but the rotation is nice. It's just a sick tank mode. Like, it's the best part about the toy. It's not an H-tank, but it still looks cool. It's definitely the mode that they prioritized over the robot mode, though. The way the silver blue panels are set up, which look fantastic, by the way, but with these in the green, it makes me think Bludgeon. I think that's one of the reasons why I like this so much, because I'm a huge fan of Bludgeon. But should you buy this? Well, here's the thing. There's a new, better Armada Megatron on the market. That's one you should get over this. And then the original as well is just a lot nicer to handle. But if you see it for cheap and you want all the Armada Megatrons like me, sure, 30 to 40 bucks at most. But yeah, there are other 2 good official ones to get over this. And if you want to go the unofficial route, there's the Mastermind Creations female one, and then the Fans Hobby one. So there's quite a bit of choice for an Armada Megatron, and I see this being on the bottom of most people's lists, myself included. It's not great. But like I said, if you can't find the new one and you want an Armada Megatron, you want it for cheap, you could probably get this one for real cheap at like a used toy shop or something. But that's my look at Combiner Wars Armada Megatron. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.